So I just got done watching Masters of the Universe 2026, and admittedly, this is going to be a very biased review. If you've seen my review for Masters of the Universe 1987, you know for a fact that I adore this franchise, that it means a lot to me. So with all that being said, yeah, obviously I was looking forward to a new He-Man movie. Come on, man. This is one of my favorite franchises. I know it's not popular for most people my age because I'm 22. Like most people my age are not into He-Man, but with how I grew up on 80s cartoons. So, yeah, I loved He-Man as a kid, and I was extremely looking forward to this movie ever since I was younger. And I saw that 87 film. I was like, God, I really want a modern day He-Man movie so bad. And they tried to make it throughout the 2000s and the 2010s. Didn't really come together. There were some good scripts, some really bad scripts involving Prince Adam being in it, but not He-Man for some reason. But anyway, what is this movie about? Well, long story short, we have Prince Adam and he's living on Eternia with his parents. Skeletor rolls up and they have some history there, which I'm not gonna go into here because it's spoilers. Um, Long story short, He-Man gets sent to Earth to be away and to not be able to be hurt by Skeletor. Comes up, Teela has to bring him back to Eternia to save the kingdom because Skeletor has made it go into ruin, and Teela also has some personal beef with Skeletor and Evil Lyn herself. So, let's get into the actual movie. How did I feel about Masters of the Universe 2026? One of my most anticipated films of the year. I really liked it. And it's really here's the thing. I like most movies nowadays. I don't know why. This year I'm a lot more positive with films. But I feel like no matter what, I would have been positive on this because, like I said, I'm extremely biased. If you don't want an unbiased review, if you want an unbiased review, this is not the place to be. I really enjoyed this because it gave me everything I wanted as a fan of He-Man. Um, I grew up with the cartoon from 1983 because, like I said, my dad had it on VHS. We used to watch it all the time as a kid. And I also watched the 2003 show, all that jazz. So with this movie, and what I loved about it was there's not a lot of lore from later on in He-Man. Like you don't see anything from like Revelations in this. But what is in this movie is a lot of 1983 love. And I really enjoyed this movie. Feels like an 80s movie. It feels like Flash Gordon in some scenes, in some ways. It has a banging soundtrack. Like, oh my God, the soundtrack to this movie. You got one of the people from Queen behind it. It is spectacular. Like when I say this feels like an 80s movie and it feels like Flash Gordon, that's what it feels like to me. But it's also a really impressive He-Man movie, first and foremost. If you're going into this expecting just like if you don't really like He-Man and you go into this movie, you're probably not going to get a ton out of it. But as somebody who grew up with He-Man, He-Man means a lot to him. It is really, really impressive to me. And they were able to make a He-Man movie that captures the spirit of the 80s while also adding some modern day flair to its modern day dialogue and making it feel very much updated, but still keeping what made that 83 cartoon so popular back in the day, what made so many people fall in love with it. Is it was goofy, it was silly, but it also had such an interesting fantasy world to it. This movie does that. This movie's goofy. Like it's extremely goofy. I Very goofy movie. But it's also very, and I do mean very interesting because it goes into the world of Eternia. You see outside of Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain, you go to these places that make He-Man lore so interesting, what makes the Master of the Universe lore so interesting. Let's talk about the man himself, He-Man, Nicholas Gore. I can't say his last name. He's really, really good at this movie. I would describe him as being kind of like how Christopher Reeve was to the first Superman movie. He brings such an energy of hopefulness and optimism, and you could tell that he was because he came from Eternia. He was longing for this world that he didn't know was really real. And so it really works for his character, and he plays it so wide-eyed and so happy, but he also goes back to this place that he dreamed of his whole life, and it's completely destroyed, and it's completely being run by an evil dictator man. Um, it's really, really good. He's just really good as this character. And I don't think they're going to make any sequels to this because I genuinely don't know how it's going to do at the box office. If they do, I could see his performance as He-Man evolving over the films and becoming something truly special. Here, I saw the roots of something truly special. Teela in this movie, she's good. I like her. Same thing for Idris Elba as Man of Arms. Battle Cat's great, but they do kind of lean into the cuteness of Battle Cat in some scenes. And let's talk about the one that we're all kind of curious about, and that is Jared Leto as Skeletor. I don't like Jared Leto as a person or an actor for that matter. But when I tell you this is the most surprising performance I've seen from him in years, I'm not lying. He is hamming it up. He is going crazy with this performance. The moment this man walks on screen, you're like, oh, that's what you're doing. Okay, let's see what you got. And this is probably one of my favorite Jared Leto performances I've seen in a really long time. Because I didn't hate him in something like Tron Ares, but he's just a really dumb, weird individual in real life that it's hard to separate the art from the artist. But he's seeing him in this movie, and thankfully he's just a voice actor from a lot of it. He is really good as his character, like surprisingly good. When I first heard the casting, I was like, "Oh God, here we go!" But he's actually pretty good in the movie. Evelyn, also in this, being played by Alison Brie, is pretty good. She's also hamming up a little bit, but she's fine. The rest of the characters, it was so cool seeing just these background characters that are within He-Man lore, like Fisto. I never thought I'd see Fisto in live action, but here he is, and it's like, dude, it's epic. Look, like what I said, I'm extremely biased towards He-Man, but something I loved about this movie that I feel like a lot of people are going to latch on to is that since it's Travis Knight behind the camera, the guy who made Bumblebee, Kubo and the Two Strings, really great films, he brings his heart to the movie. That's what I loved about the film. It has such a good heart. And what I also loved about the movie is its message. I'm not going to spoil what the message is here, but there's some themes throughout the movie involving both toxic masculinity. And it really works well for He-Man, like extremely well, because it's not for him, it's for Skeletor. And it is really surprising for me that this movie did that because it could have easily just kind of did its own thing and just not really do anything about it. But it does really work for me. Like, I did quite enjoy it a lot. And I was surprised by that. And I was surprised this movie went there because I always knew I was going to have fun with this movie. I didn't expect to leave this movie and be truly in awe of just how good I thought it was. Like I said, nobody, people are not going to love this film as much as me. If you're not a fan of He-Man, this movie is probably not going to be great for you. But as a fan of He-Man, as a fan of this character, I found myself to be completely engrossed in this story. I found myself to have such a good time with the movie. Is it perfect? No, there's some pacing issues. Some of the scenes on Earth isn't great, and some of the other characters there, or that whole portion is just kind of it's necessary, but it's not great. But what really works about this movie is you can tell the people behind the camera, especially Travis Knight, really care about this character. They really care about this universe, and it's what this universe needed, in my opinion, because He-Man became very irrelevant recently. And I feel like it needed just somebody to come in with love for the franchise. Granted, love for the 1983 movie, not movie, the show, not really anything else, but it still really works. I had a blast with this movie. It's not perfect by any means, but I definitely am biased here, and I will give Masters of the Universe a 9 out of 10. By the way, stay for the after credits if you're a fan of the franchise, because holy God.